Alrighty, people, what is happening? How we living? How we feeling? It's a great day to be great, and we're gonna help you get there. We are reviewing some Dynasty teams today, and hopefully helping you guys build some better Dynasty teams. I appreciate you for being here with us. Sorry for the lateness, but we are here. What is up, Jack? In the building. We've got Artie in the building. He says, "What's up?" Tez Johnson Wamper says, "Well, it's funny. Yesterday, I was on this stream defending Tez Johnson and saying I'm not going to lower him in my rankings, and that wasn't very popular. And now all I'm seeing over social media is that Tez Johnson is one of the best players at the Senior Bowl, as if he was always a good player. But everybody wrote him off because of how much he weighed. What? That's a different conversation for a different day, I guess." What is up, WG in the building? Bindles is here. What's up, Dylan? We know Dylan. We know you love Jaden Higgins. What's up, Fault? What's happening? By the way, if Jaden Higgins is everybody's favorite sleeper, is he a sleeper? What's the philosophy behind a sleeper? If everybody loves Jaden Higgins as a sleeper, is he a sleeper? What's up, Proofy? Welcome in. Appreciate you guys for being here. Do us a favor, smash that like button as today's stream begins. Got a like goal today of 50 likes. With your help, we can definitely get there. Again, we are reviewing people's Dynasty teams today, and someone said Sanders is their favorite sleeper. In the third round, fair enough, my friend. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty. All right, Badaki may or may not join us. I'm not actually 100% sure. But he could potentially be here. But I am going to be reviewing people's Dynasty teams today, guys. There's two ways you can get your team reviewed. The first way is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAM. Okay? And when you become a yearly member, you get our 2025 rookie report, which I'll show you in a second. You get the Dynasty Playbook, which is completely customized to your team, your league, your offseason, what to do with your draft picks, specific trade recommendations, understanding your league priorities. Obviously, that comes with it when you become a yearly member. You also get a free trade question voucher on the website. You unlock our complete rankings, all the premium tools on the website, and of course, you're supporting Badaki and I. Okay, that is the way you can get one by becoming a yearly member. And this is what our rookie report looks like currently on the back end, getting ready for V2, and excited to release V2 for you guys as there's so much new information to show you. The other way is if you want, let's say you're already a member on a different code, or you don't want to become a yearly member for whatever reason, you can buy a team playbook, a review, a la carte, right? It'll take you to a link that looks like this. You go team review. If you haven't linked up your league yet, I would suggest to do so. If you're with Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo, it's very easy. If you're like MFL or something, you can still upload screenshots and just send your league ID, and we can still have a look at it. But if you've already linked your leagues through Sleeper, it'll automatically upload your settings. Then you select the team that you want to review, make sure it's yours, add any draft picks that aren't there, or remove any that don't belong to you, hit continue. Then you'll see Zach and Badaki here, right, from Fantasyland. The baseline is an offline review, and it's just $10 more to get the live team playbook. All right, so that's where we also give you the live stream. Some people prefer the offline because they don't actually want to see what am I trying to say? They don't want their league to see it, if that makes sense. So that is the way you go about getting it done, ladies and gentlemen. And please let me know if you have any questions while I'm streaming. I will do everything I can to answer any questions and make sure we all know what we're doing. But, all right. Let's get to the first review, which is from Lad's number one fan. Do we have Lad's number one fan in the chat? Because I know yesterday he was waiting and he was excited for this review. Let us know if you're in the chat, my friend. But sorry, catching up with the comment section here. What's up, Russ? WG says Yogi, quote, nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. I actually don't even know what that means. I don't know what you're referring to. Jonah says, what's up, Zach? Hope all is good. Looking to move my 201 into 10-man. Think I can get T-Law in return? That's possible. I mean, that's like the 111. I've seen him go for that. What's up, Styles? Are you allowed to team review yourself? I could. But I don't want our followers who are in leagues with us seeing that. What's up, Chargers fan? Chiefs or Eagles? I'm going to go Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, there's not a... I think my two least favorite teams in the NFL are the Cowboys and the Eagles. And that's coming from a Washington fan. I also am a Chiefs fan. I support both of those teams. Have since like 2010 for Kansas City. 1994, I was born into Washington fandom. What's up? What's Gucci? All right, let's get to this team review, shall we? Actually, I just realized that Shanny had a trade question that they entered. Again, when you become a yearly member, you get a free trade question voucher on the site. But shout out to Channy. Says, I countered with the second round pick swap added. Would you accept the first or prefer the second? So I love Bryce Young, but I feel like this isn't enough for the 101. I'm curious how the chat feels. How do you guys feel? Let me know in the comment section. But this doesn't feel enough for the 101. I love Bryce Young. Even in a super flex league, I just feel like you should be getting a bigger return than this. I'd expect another first rounder. I'd expect at least another first rounder in another season. They have the 104. Like, at minimum, the 1012. Or the 112, sorry. That even feels a little light. Like, I probably would ask for the 104. I'd send them back the 110. And I'd also ask for the 112. Like, that feels like the 101 price to me. Because you're tearing down from the 112 to the 110, but you're adding the 104. That feels more realistic based off what I've seen for the 101. I think the 101 is in a tier of its own this year. And that's probably what I would be looking for in return at minimum. The option 1, but I think option 2 is more realistic. But if you're going to stick with this original trade, I think the 101 clearly wins. But I might have misunderstood that. Basically, if you're getting the 101 in that original trade, do it, Channy. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Yeah, and everyone else says smashing the 101. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, I do have Pat ranked low on my quarterback list. Yeah, I mean, I tried to be a little realistic, you know, with the rankings. Crime Lord says, enjoy seeing these reviews. Love to see that. Boo on the Chiefs. Go Birds. I don't know, man. Like, obviously, I have an internal hate for the Eagles that was built into me from day one because I grew up a Washington fan. But there are good Philly fans out there, but there are also some very terrible Philly fans. So I'll just leave it at that. Daniel says, hit the like button. Appreciate you, Daniel. Yeah, we do have a like goal today of 50 likes. Be a friend. Smash that like button to show some love. Again, if you want to know how to get your team reviewed, you can go back about 5 minutes into the stream. Let's start with Lad's number one fan, and he is here. He's with us. So he says, well, first off, this is a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 11. So a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 11. That's actually a very big starting lineup. Now that I'm looking at this, actually, this is a Death is King starting lineup, which means you can probably start up to 7 receivers. You might have 3 starting wide receivers and 4 flex spots, or you might have 2 starting wide receivers and 5 flex spots. Either way, this is a massive starting lineup. Let me know if that's, and Titan Premium is 1.5. Okay. So yeah, that's good to know. That's all very good information. Depth is very important here. He says, I won year 1, but lost last year. Titan Premium is +1, so 1.5 total. Right, because it's a half point premium. What moves do you recommend? I can acquire Brock, but he wants the 105 plus Kyron plus Hawk. I am too emotionally attached to all my wide receivers to move them. Also, would you trade down to 108? I'm getting the 109 on top. Big fan, Zach. I appreciate that, man. I'm a big fan of you, and hopefully you were with us last season because we were a big fan of Lad McConkey. We drafted him everywhere. But your name is ASAP McConkey, which that's actually awesome. I like that team name a lot. I might steal it. ASAP Rocky was one of my favorite rappers growing up. He hasn't really released much recently. I mean, in my high school days, ASAP Rocky was playing in my car. I had a 1994 Lexus, which I got. My grandma gave me $3,000, and I bought a 94 Lexus, and that thing drove like butter. That thing was, I think it's an ES300, all black. I mean, yeah, that thing was buttery smooth. Anyway, all right, 1 quarterback, 10 team start 11. We got Hurts, May, Baker. I mean, we have an excess of quarterbacks. We have Brees, Kyron, CMC, Etienne, Bigsby, Corum, Horindo. That's a decent running back room there, actually. At wide receiver, holy shit. We have Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, Drake London, Lab McConkey, A.J. Brown. My God. And then we have literally no depth whatsoever. And then we have T.J. Hawkinson, Ingram, Johnson. And we also have the 105. Is this correct? Is this the only pick you own in the next 2 years, my friend? Is this the only pick you own in the next 2 years? Is that right? Wow, this is the only pick you own in the next 2 years. Okay. Well, as far as when we talk about the draft capital, I think it will be a relatively quicker segment than normal. But, all right, we have the 105. We'll talk about that. We'll definitely discuss that in the review. But overall, I mean, look, your draft capital, I got to be a little harsh there because you have no picks to build around long term. So your draft capital grade is probably going to be around like a C-. At least you have a first-round pick. As far as your overall team grade, let's think this through. So start 11. You're starting Hurts, Brees, Kyron, maybe even CMC. Then you're starting Puka, Neighbors. You're starting Hawkinson. And then you are starting Collins, London, McConkey, Brown, and then CMC. I mean, that has got to be one. And that has got to be the best starting lineup in your league. Surely no one has the depth like that. I mean, maybe this guy who's got Knicks. This guy's probably close, but I think your wide receivers are better. I mean, yeah, look at the rest of this league. You have got to easily be the best starting lineup. By far, it's not even close. That's a good-ass squad, man. So while you don't have any future picks, I mean, you've built one hell of a unit here, but it will limit your flexibility in trades. Overall team grade, it's got to be an A. It's got to be an A. I can't say A plus because of the picks, but A flat. And I can't call you a Thanos, but you're definitely a contender. I would actually call this a hybrid contender windows open because not only are you a contender, you're probably out there, battling for championships, but you also have no reason to not go out and win the whole damn thing. You know what I mean? He says, I got Puka and Kyron for cheap before the league started. Glad I got through Reed. Okay, wow, nice. I agree, Russ. I mean, if you can win a championship, the picks don't matter. But yeah, this is a very, very good team. The original trade that you talked about was I can acquire Brock, but he wants the 105, Kyron, and Hawkinson. Let's talk this one through. So, Brock. Oh, actually, you'd be getting Brock Bowers, right? This is the conversation that we're talking about. The 105, Kyron, and Hawk. See, I think like this is where I say that you limit your flexibility a little bit because I think that's actually not an unreasonable ask for Brock Bowers, especially in a tight end premium league. However, if you make this deal, I think you're really gonna struggle because of the depth of your team. Again, in a start 11, let's think about this. With no Brees Hall, no 105. Or no Kyron Williams, no 105. We still have Hurts. We can still start Kyron McCaffrey. But we would basically be really struggling at our last flex. Do you see where I'm coming from? Because right now you can start CMC as your last flex. But if you lose Kyron Williams and the 105, you have no last flex. I mean, maybe Etienne turns into something. Maybe you flex Evan Ingram. But it's not an unreasonable ask. But you lose any opportunity to flex think about all the injuries that can happen. Think about all the bye weeks throughout the season. We're not going to make moves for bye weeks, but you will have injuries. I mean, yeah, I guess I'd like to hear what the chat thinks about that, but it feels like you're not in a position to really make a move like that. Unless we can go like Rice. No, that wouldn't make sense, but yeah, I don't think you're in a position to really make a move like this. Kyren is so crucial to your team. I mean, can he send you Brandon Ayuk back? If he can send you Brandon Ayuk back, I think I get a little bit more interested because it gives you a little bit more flexibility. And then at your running back room, while you don't have a clear RB2 if you did this, you would still have like your Etienne and Bigsby, hoping that they become something. Yeah, I think it might be too much. Chargers fan says, Puka, he wants an overpay because my team's status. He doesn't care about value. He wants to win hard. Yeah, I mean, I think at minimum I'd ask him for Brandon Ayuk. And then if you did this, someone else made a very good point, WG, which was exactly where I was going to go. I love that we're on the same page. But if you did do this deal and you got Ayuk back, that would make it easier. And then if you're able to tear down from A.J. Brown, who needs wide receivers? So, like, for example, that's not good enough, actually, but let's see. Like a Devonta Smith-Mixon. Do you know what I mean? Like if you were, and again, I'm only doing this if I actually go out and get Brock Bowers, but I'll give you a couple more ideas, and maybe it's good that you're here because you'll see these things on the graphic, but it will only be specified to if you go through this, like Roma Dunze, Pollard, right? If you can get Roma Dunze plus 20 Pollard plus the 201 or something like that, right? I mean, that would be, it would give you more flexibility for sure. If you get like Bucky Irving and Jerry Jeudy, right? So again, this is if you trade for Bowers, again, you need a little bit more than he's asking right now. Once you lose your depth, use A.J. Brown to tear down and grab running back help. Or just depth in general. But hopefully that makes sense. So again, that's only if you were to trade for Brock Bowers. Okay, gotcha. That's good to know. Yeah, and I also think, like, yeah, we could actually go the opposite, where we, you know, Russ brings up a good point. We don't need Ayuk back, but instead of giving you the 105 plus Kyren plus Hawkinson, we'll give you the 105 and Hawkinson. And then we'll offer, I mean, does the guy need quarterback? What's his team name again? I mean, he needs a quarterback too. We'll offer him Baker Mayfield as well. You know, like trying to meet him in the middle. Those are two ways that you can do it. If you want to expand the trade and grab Ayuk, or you want to limit the trade and send Mayfield, I think those are two ways you can do it, and then you can tear down off of AJ. Again, that's just like option one, I guess. But yeah, like I said, overall team grade was an A. As far as your untouchables, that's going to be most of your wide receiver room. I would say Puka, Malik Neighbors are your real untouchables. Guys that I would hold Etienne at this point after the Liam Cohen signing. I'd also hold Isaac Correndo, Blake Corum. Most of your running backs I'd hold. Marshawn Lloyd. Like, these guys are all worth holding because they're just not worth selling. And then you can easily drop Jawar Jordan. You can drop Ty Chandler. Those guys are easy drops. If you need more, you can drop Sincere McCormick. You can drop John Bates, Jaheim Bell, if you need room. But your waiver wire might be bare. You don't have to do that. But if you're at the 105, you're going to stick and pick. I think you could probably use... I mean, the strength of this class is running back. But really, your team is so good everywhere. You could just go best player available. So, really, at this point, it really is like this range of your McMillan, Burden, Hampton, Caleb, Henderson. That's kind of like the range that we're in right now. If you are to stick and pick. And I see you, Badaki, and I hear you. We'll get Badaki on after this review. But yeah, if we're going to send that pick away, I don't mind sending the 105 as either. If you want to, well, you did mention trading back to the 108. Also, okay. Also, would you trade down to 108? I'm getting the 109 on top. Oh yeah, absolutely. So you're telling me you have the option? Hold on. You're telling me you have the option of going from the 105 and you get the 108 plus the 109? If so, that's a no-brainer yes for me. Especially in this class. Because you're going to go from getting... Okay, maybe you get... What? Caleb Johnson? But if you trade back, you're probably going to land like a Judkins Egbuka or a Judkins Warren, a Judkins Loveland. I definitely think Judkins Matthew Golden. I definitely think that's worth it. If you're telling me this is on the table, I love that. That's what I've been preaching everyone to do with their picks this year. And the other option, and by the way, I would prefer doing this. Like, could that be another solution? Like, if you do this move, can you then turn the 108 and the 109 plus Hawkinson into Bowers? Right? I mean, if you do a trade back, does that solve your issue? And you're basically sending the 105 plus Hawk for Bowers. Right? I mean, that could also solve a lot of the things you're trying to work through right now. But, all right, if we are to trade the 105, you're definitely a team. Like I said, this is a hybrid contender when windows open. But we'd be looking for a team that's dog shit, that has a good young veteran. So, let's see. You can't get Bijan, that's for damn sure. Okay, well, this team could be perfect. This team isn't very good. They have Bucky Irving. I mean, can you send the 105 for Bucky Irving? In a one-quarterback league, I think that would be incredible. I mean, with CMC on your roster, that gives you a ton of flexibility moving forward. I mean, you're also in this range where, like, Jonathan Taylor, right? You're in this range of... Devon Achane is probably pushing it. I don't think you're actually going to get that done. He's probably going to cost more than that. Your Josh Jacobs range. Again, if you're wanting to, at least personally, for me, if you wanted to move that pick, it would be for a running back to go out and compete with. Would I sell Evan Ingram? I would have sold him last offseason, not this offseason, because it feels like a bad time to sell him. I mean, who has a tight end need? This guy is Jake Ferguson. I mean, can you sell Evan Ingram and... I mean, could you try and grab that 109, go Ingram plus Etienne or Bigsby? Is there a way you could do that? Etienne plus Baker plus Ingram. Could that net you the 109 from that guy who has a huge tight end need? King Julian is his name. I mean, can you even get the 201 for him? You know, it's a 10-team league, right? Or it's a 10-team league, yeah. So that's really the 111. Can you get the 201 for Evan Ingram? That could make sense. So in this scenario, I mean, I feel like there's so many ways you can go with this team, man. I feel like I've honestly just laid out like 4 different pathways for you. If you stick and pick, go best player available here, which will be determined by the rankings soon. If you can trade back, I love that idea. That would be my favorite idea. If you want to trade the pick for a player already in the NFL, Bucky Irving is my favorite idea. If you're able to move back from the 105 to the 108 and the 109, and you can use that to grab Brock Bowers, that's absolutely beautiful. That wouldn't even force you to like go out and go crazy for depth. You know what I mean? Like in that scenario, you actually wouldn't have to go out there and get depth if you didn't want to. And then of course, if you can move Evan Ingram for the 201, I think that makes a ton of sense as well. But I really like this team, man. I like you don't have picks, sure, but I mean this team is real nice. This team, you should feel very good about the team that you've built here. And obviously, I do want to take time and hear from you. He says, "Is there a trade you would recommend with the champ? He likes Kyron, but he's smart, so trade has to be fair." Well, quite frankly, I just don't understand why this guy would need Kyron. I mean, look at his running back room. What exactly, what kind of trade are we going to do here? He has Saquon, Taylor, Ken Walker, Monty, Henry, Connor. I mean, so we're going to give him Kyron Williams, and I just don't know what exactly that trade looks like. What do you give the guy who already has everything? Because he's kind of like you. I mean, you could ask for... You know what I mean? You ask for Jonathan Taylor? Do you try and... I mean, the one thing I would try is like a Trey McBride-Hawkinson swap, and that could save you from going to Bowers if you felt like you didn't need to. So you could do like a Kyron plus Hawk, and you could try and turn that into McBride plus... I wouldn't really want to do Ken Walker, but I guess if I could upgrade to Ken or to McBride, it probably would be worth it. What do you think, chat? Would you guys do this for a Kyron swap? Kyron Williams and Hawkinson for McBride and Ken Walker. I think that's probably the only thing that really makes sense. I don't think anything else really makes sense. No, I wouldn't do Monty and Ken. I just don't think it makes sense for you. I mean, if you were in a position where, you know, you needed the depth and your team was really flushed at running or at wide receiver and other spots, and you needed running back. Let's say you only had Breece, and then or you only had Kyron, and then after that it was Etienne and Bigsby. In that scenario, sure, that could make sense, but not in this scenario, because if you get rid of Kyron and then you add Monty and Ken Walker, then Monty's not even going to start for this team. It just doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, logically, it just doesn't add up to me. But, please let me know if you have any questions, brother. I like this team. I like the direction you're going. We're going to get Badaki in this stream. Oh, he's already here.
Yeah, I'm here. I was just waiting. When you finished talking, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're good, brother.
You were in the flow, so I was
no, you're good.
Happen.
He says, I appreciate it, bro. Love your content and your third round swings. No more questions on my end. I appreciate that, man. All right. Well, that is great to hear, my friend. You will get your Dynasty Playbook, which will be completely customized to everything we talked about today, within the next 72 hours. And excited to get that over to you. Now, you heard everything on your end? Because Badaki does all of our graphics, by the way, for our team playbooks.
Yeah,
anything you guys see. So you got everything on your end?
I went back and listened to it once I came back on and cool. Filled it out. I got all the untouchables and the grades and everything, so you're all good.
Awesome.
But if there's anything wrong there, Chargers fan, you get our email, send us a message, send us an email, and I'm happy to fix that over, but I should have everything, so you're all good, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I do see some questions in the chat. Just to let you guys know, we'll try and be a little bit more like we will engage with the chat, but I want to really give these people like their time to shine because they have, you know, financially supported the channel, and you know I just want to make sure we give them their time to shine. So hopefully you guys get where we're coming from. But you know we're always looking in out of the chat with those mock drafts and everything. But, by the way, like goal today is 50 likes. We're already halfway there. Be a friend, smash that like button to show some love. Mr. Potato Head is the next team review. If he's in the chat, let us know. Now, if you guys want your team playbook, all right, there are 2 ways to get it. All right, your team playbook, which we just call like a customized game plan for your Dynasty offseason, which is, you know, exactly customized to your league. There's 2 ways you can get it. First way is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAND. That is easily the best bang for your buck. You get our rookie report, you get the team playbook, you also get all the premium tools on the website, a trade review voucher. By far the best bang for your buck. The other option is, let's say you're on a different promo code or you don't want to become a member, you can buy one a la carte. I'll put that link in the chat for you right now as well. So those 2 links are there. Oh, I don't know why the first link didn't send. Okay. So that link is the that first link that went through is the a la carte option. The second link is to become a yearly member. But when you get here, you go team review. If you haven't linked up your team yet, you can do that through Sleeper, ESPN, and Yahoo. If you're on MFL, you can just upload in the chat box your MFL ID. Hit continue. Then you just got to choose what team is yours. Make sure the draft picks are correct. Hit continue. And then you'll see Zach and Badaki here from Fantasyland. The baseline is an offline review. Some people prefer that because they don't want their league to see it live. But it's just $10 more to guarantee the live review with it. But all right, let's get to Mr. Potato Head here.
Mr. Potato Head, appreciate you and your support. Let's have a breakdown of this team. He says, lost the championship because I started Jason over Malik. Yes, I know. Traded my 25 first and second for Gibbs before the season, which is why I don't have any of my 25 picks. Looking pretty good now. I want to get out of A.J. Brown. Do I try and get back players or shoot for 25/26 draft picks? Any other advice with this roster? All right. So 1 too many is this team. This is a 2 quarterback, 10 team start 9.
Meat and potatoes.
So a meat and potatoes 2-2-1-2. All right, let's have a look at this team. 1 too many. You're currently ranked 2 out of 10. This is a 10-man league. Josh Allen, Michael Penix, Bryce Young, J.J. McCarthy, a plethora of quarterbacks there. That is great. Maybe we can use this for some draft capital if we really wanted to. At the running back position, you had Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Jonathan Brooks, and the list goes on. So you basically had 2 top 3 running backs this year, 2 top 2 running backs in fantasy this year with Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Jackson Smith and Jigba, A.J. Brown, George Pickens, Terry, and Adonai Mitchell with Mark Andrews here. It's a good team.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good team.
I mean, it's a 10-team league, so teams are going to naturally be a little bit better than a 12-man, but it is a good team overall. I mean, think through the starting lineup right now. It's probably Allen, Penix, then
Most likely, yeah.
Gibbs, Barkley, Neighbors, Thomas, Andrews. Then you would be flexing JSN, AJ Brown, probably Pickens, some of those names. So it's a good team. You can potentially tear down from AJ or send him in a trade, but I'm not really sure I would be looking to get rid of AJ with a team that doesn't have our pick in 25,
first.
but we do have our 26 pick. But anyway, all I'm saying is probably windows open type vibes here. I think this is windows open. I think contender.
I was gonna say I think contender because he still has his 26 first. So
yeah, that's fair.
Just doesn't have his 25 first. Like this year, it's not gonna help him whatsoever. If you want to make moves, if you want to make moves, it's just gonna have to be with the plays that you have, unless you use your 26 first, which we probably wouldn't recommend. So it's either packaging some of these players that most likely aren't going to be starting on your team to potentially tier out. Like, can you package George Pickens and Terry or AJ Brown and Terry and see what you can get? Or we don't even want to do that, right? Hypothetically, or do you try and sell Bryce Young in a 10-man league or JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, this
so
is
definitely a couple ways.
This is a pretty good roster. Draft capital grade got to be like a C plus, just because we don't have any picks in 25, so we got to account for that. And then overall team grade, it's a pretty good team. I mean, I'd probably say A minus.
Yeah.
A minus feels good. As far as your untouchables, that would be Neighbors, Gibbs, Allen, Thomas. You actually have 4 untouchables. Allen, Gibbs, Neighbors, Thomas. I definitely would not move Josh Allen in a 10-team Superflex. He's going to be an important piece to put you over the top. Holds would probably be J.J. McCarthy. I'd also add on to that. I mean, I want to say Jaylen Warren, but only so we could sell him. Like if Najee Harris goes somewhere else in free agency, if we can sell him as soon as that happens.
So Jaylen Warren we're holding as well.
Yeah, and Jordan Whittington's also a very good hold too.
It'd probably just be 2. So
Let's
JJ.
add Whittington instead of Warren then. Okay. And as far as drops, you can drop DTR pretty easily. I mean, I'm close on Watson at this point, but for now we'll hold. And then, well, honestly, Watson would be the next. Kareem Hunt is weird because I would want to drop Kareem Hunt, but
that's what I was saying. I say we look. Obviously, these drops and these moves are going to be happening after the NFL draft. These guys, honestly, you probably don't even have to drop anyone. You know why? Because you don't have any picks in this year.
Yeah.
So you might as well just hold these guys, and if there is somebody that falls into the waiver wires, you can then drop DTR. You can drop Kareem Hunt if the Chiefs do draft a running back or the Browns draft a quarterback. But I'll put Kareem Hunt there because that's more most likely. Like if the Browns don't draft,
he's having a good
quarterback there,
good
then,
impact for them, but he's not a part of their future. Kareem.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the way to improve this roster is to use one of, and it's really tough because I wish you had a different name. I think all these guys are holds, like the Penix, Young, McCarthy's. But the way to improve the roster is to use one of Young or Penix. Those are the most sellable names. And A.J. Brown, I think. But in the start 9, let's think this through again. Josh Allen, Penix, Gibbs, Barkley, Neighbors, Thomas, Andrews, JSN, A.J. Brown. That is 9. So the guys who aren't starting right now for you are Pickens, McLaurin, Pollard. You've already got a good amount of depth. I would almost want to package like Bryce and AJ for a star. Bryce and Pickens to upgrade.
Yeah,
Bryce and Pollard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the route I probably would take with this team. So again, I'm just going to say trade. Is it going to let me use my keyboard? Okay, here we go. Trade away targets. And I think we'll probably do some sort of package, but like Bryce Young, I guess Penix, man, because we don't need 4 quarterbacks.
I just think the person that you could sell for a good price would be most likely Penix, just because people like
Young now though as well.
I think people like Penix more.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I would rather sell Young, but I definitely agree with you too.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Pollard. Okay, so those are like your ideal names to move away in this scenario. So why don't we try by starting with Bryce Young plus AJ Brown? Let's shoot for the stars here. I mean, we already have Neighbors and Thomas, but could we get like? How would you feel about like a Puka?
Yeah, we can try and get Puka.
And you might even be able to get something in return. Yeah, that guy desperately needs quarterback. Could you get Puka and the 108? And like, do you think that's possible? And then we'll also send Bryce Young, AJ Brown, and something else. We'll also go ahead and send you.
I mean, I'm happy to send one of those running backs, even without knowing
Yeah, right. So what, like Brooks
Yep.
Warren?
Yeah, Brooks Warren, one of those guys.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And then you got capital in this year. And then honestly, that might be the best trade. And if that does happen, you upgrade at the wide receiver position, you get younger, and you have capital to then maybe replace your running back
Yeah,
at that 108, or get a younger tight end at the 108 because this is super flex.
and if you need that to be Penix, I think you can get rid of Jalen Warren and make that Penix AJ Brown for Puka in the 108. And that feels like
Yeah.
you maybe even should add the 208 if you do that. Okay, so I'm liking this direction so far. Because, again, one of these quarterbacks are very movable. So, again, if we go Bryce Young, A.J. Brown, let's keep looking at teams. I want to find a team that needs quarterback too, but is very good at wide receiver. And I really want it to be a need. For example, the guy who has Tua, he has Nico Collins.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
I think you would need like Nico and the 103. And then you can also send back Bryce Young, AJ Brown, and what, Tony Pollard maybe? That might be, they might not agree to that. So if we wanted to do Nico, what else could it be outside the 103? Has to be a plus. We got to get something on top of it.
It can be a future first. It could be Ayuk. I'm happy with Ayuk. I'm happy with Zay. I'm happy with Devonta Smith. I'm happy with all three of those guys personally.
Okay. All right. So that's another option. That could work for you. Let's see. Milkshakester. Bowers could be great. Who's our tight end again? Andrews. I would not be opposed to a Bowers move. I think I would send Bryce Young and AJ Brown for Bowers straight up in this scenario, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they would agree to it, but yes, I'm happy to try that. I think I would like if they came to me and say, "Can you add like George Pickens and then can I get the 109 or something or Sutton?" I would do that. Personally.
Yeah. I think originally you should ask for Connor back, and if they say no, just ask for Bowers back. And alternatively, you could add Mark Andrews so they don't feel out of a boat there, and then add their 108.
Sure.
109 is what they have. Or maybe even the 201, but yeah, 109 feels realistic there.
Yeah, that feels good personally. I'll be okay with doing that, giving them the tight end back.
Yeah, so those are some options. I don't think there's other teams that really need to make a move like this. Maybe the team that has Trevor Lawrence, but I don't think they would be desperate. But if you could go like a Mon-Ra Tracy or something. You know what I mean? That could be
Mon-Ra Tracy.
That could be interesting. And most of these trades are interchangeable with Penix, by the way. In fact, let's say they're down to do the deal for Bryce Young, AJ Brown, you get Bowers, Connor, but they actually want it to be Penix instead of Bryce Young, then that's interchangeable as well.
Yeah, I like that.
I really think you should use one of these quarterbacks in a package. I think that's your best path. But if you wanted to use like AJ plus Pickens to upgrade, you could do that as well. I think it's better use of your assets to use the quarterbacks. But if you want AJ Brown and George Pickens, I mean, Nico Collins is probably in range, right?
Yeah, I'd probably be okay with Nico there. I don't know if you can do Puka for that. I think maybe you could actually.
If you can, great. I don't think they're going to say yes. Obviously, Thomas as well. I don't think they'll say yes. But again, we're throwing this out there as options. Again, I really think the way forward for this team is packaging a quarterback. And then as far as Pollard goes, like I actually wouldn't be opposed to attaching AJ Brown and Pollard and going out there and trying to get, man, I don't think that gets you in Bijan range or 101 range.
No, it doesn't.
So that might not be possible. Outside of that, it's not worth it. Like, you're not going to do that for Jonathan Taylor. But yeah, I really like this route. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Puka Nacua deal that we came up with. I love the Brock Bowers deal as well.
Yeah, the Brock Bowers one is good.
The Collins and a future first I like. Any other ones you want to highlight here?
Yeah, let's do just AJ Brown pickings, see what happens there.
Yeah.
And then we can do AJ Monron Tracy, so you can get a wide receiver and running back.
Yeah. Those are all really good trade ideas, I think. At least good baseline offers to start with. And I mean, let's say you got the Bowers Connor deal done. So you lost Bryce Young and AJ Brown. All right, so we don't have Bryce Young. That's fine. We still have Allen, Penix, and McCarthy. But we add Brock Bowers to this team. That's a huge upgrade. We can sell Mark Andrews if we wanted to. We add James Conner to our running back depth. That's a much better RB3. And you still have Pickens and McLaurin that can help out your flex spots. So I like it. All these deals, I think, make a ton of sense for you, and it's the direction I would take. I'm a big fan of the roster, man. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah, appreciate you. And you'll be receiving your customized playbook within 72 hours on the Flock Fantasy message system. So definitely stay tuned for that with all the information that, all the trade information to the chalkboard that you'll be getting, which is awesome. So, but we appreciate you in your support, Mr. Potato Head.
Mr. Potato Head. All right, on to Kahuni.
Cahoots.
Kahuni is next
Kahoot?
here. Yeah, I'll play Cahoots.
Dude, we should play Cahoots with the community. That'll probably be. I don't know how we would do it.
Yeah, that's
we
not
can
a
send the
bad
link out.
idea.
Send a pin and then I don't know. I don't know what we would do.
Yeah, what would we make the test of?
I don't know. Maybe it could just be like just a fun night of like trivia. We could have a cool trivia night after. We'll just think of or trivia of the 2024. Like who had the most targets,
Right.
or who is this player? And I think we could put screenshots up, and then how you show their
Yeah.
that could be kind of cool. Their weekly
I like it.
stats.
I like it.
Hoots. Come on, just trying to create fun for the community anyways.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go to the next
Kahuni's
one.
next here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the support, Kahuni. I'll read this context. I feel like my team is too top heavy and not enough depth. This league has been one quarterback for the past couple of years, but starting this year, it'll be super flex.
Okay.
Appreciate y'all.
So
okay.
it goes to start 10, I assume, then?
If you are here, that would be very interesting.
I assume it's because right now it's one quarterback start 9. I assume they add a super flex.
Yeah,
And
and
it
it's
becomes
tight
a
end
start
premium. I know they're going to be adding the tight end premiums soon.
All right. Let's operate as if this is
Just to start 10.
yeah.
Yeah, so if this is start 10 super flex, that means it'll be the middle ground. That would be 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 3 flexes. Obviously, however way your league is going to be formatting that.
Oh my goodness. I
Should
just saw
all be the same.
the graph of look at him, number 1.
Yeah,
He looks like a Thanos, but
we're about
we
to find out.
we don't know if that's true, but the graph
Yeah.
says maybe.
We are about to find
Not
out.
a Thanos, but let's have a look.
So this is a 12 team. You're currently ranked first. Let's have a look at this team here. Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, and the list goes on. Decent quarterback
Decent
room.
for
I like
Superflex. Yeah, I mean, you're ready
Yeah.
for Superflex there.
Yeah, 100%. At the running back position, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, and Monty. So that's also a good running back room, which I really like. At the wide receiver position, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Amari Cooper, Malik Washington, and the list goes on, to be completely honest. So you are very top heavy, like you did mention, at that wide receiver position. And I think this is the first tight end room that we have that has Kyle Pitts, and we're going to call it "You have no tight ends."
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had a Kyle Pitts tight end room and said that before.
You have a what if, but that's it.
Gosh.
But to be honest, for like a start 10, this isn't. I wouldn't look at this and say, man, we desperately need to get depth. I mean, if you think about his starting lineup, if it's super flex, it would be Hurts, Mayfield, Gibbs, Bijan, Chase, Jefferson, Kraft, and then all you need to do is find 3 more flexes, and that would be Monty, Amon-Ra, Terry. So you're right after that, because there's literally no depth after that. It's Amari Cooper, Malik Washington, Yeshivis, Burton, Allen. But I wouldn't be super desperate to go ahead and flip Gibbs into something, Bijan into something, Amon-Ra and Chase and Jefferson. I wouldn't be that desperate to do that. The issue is we really don't have like an opportunity to drastically improve this team through the draft. We only have...
I mean, not even in 2025, 2026 either.
Yeah, we only have like a late... Oh, wait, I just realized that. You're right. There's only a first and 20... only a third and fourth and 26. Draft capital grade's got to be like a D.
He must have traded. I mean, with these players, obviously you're not drafting them back-to-back in a startup like this, having Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan, Jamar, and Jefferson with Amon-Ra. He must have sold his first in 25 and 26 for one of these guys. Maybe it was, Jefferson last year, because a lot of people were concerned about Sam Darnold. Bijan Robinson was an interesting buy because people were a little bit like, at least early in the offseason, right? Like early around this time, it was like, oh, it's Bijan. What's going to happen? Because there wasn't no Kirk Cousins there yet. There wasn't any, head coaches changing what's happening at that time.
Yeah. I think this is Windows open. This feels like Windows open to me, because again, like there's just no reason not to be all in. I would say the entire team as a grade, probably B plus. Like it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a good team.
I was gonna say A, but there's no draft capital, so I think B plus is fair. But I mean, you have the running back 1 and 2, and the wide receiver 1 and 2.
Like, do we sell one of these guys?
I was gonna suggest Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, do we sell one of these guys, and can we get like 2 players and a pick?
I think it's one move. It's a Justin Jefferson tier down or an Amon-Ra tier down, and we chill. And what we want to do is get a really good running back and wide receiver, and maybe address tight end, maybe get a pick like you mentioned. Yeah. Outside of that, I don't feel a need to move anything with the quarterback room. Lawrence is a buy low right now. Mayfield is a hold. I would like to keep Gibbs and Bijan. I think Jefferson, we want to keep him obviously, but he's really the piece that I think let's move it and, really just build out a little bit more depth. So I think that's really the main path I would take forward. But like we said, Windows open roster. Your untouchables would be
Gibbs, Robinson. I put Jamar Chase. Look, I'm just gonna put the top 4 guys. Gibbs, Robinson, Chase, Jefferson, with us obviously trying to move Justin Jefferson. And if you don't want to do that, that's okay. At least he's untouchable.
Yeah. You could do nothing with this roster. You could 100%. Genuinely do nothing with this roster, and you could go into 2025, and if no one gets injured, or even if one player gets injured, you would still have a great chance to win it all. But if you want to build a more complete roster, Jefferson tier down is maybe the way to do it. So let's have a look at some of our options.
Just really quick. I put Malik Washington and Trevor Lawrence as holds, and then
you could drop OBJ, Tony.
Kadarius Toney and OBJ will probably just be the 2 guys that we
could probably drop Jermaine and Dortch if you want as well. But all right, let's have a look for a team that is flushed with assets but could use an upgrade. For example, would you go like Jefferson Bucky Rice Bucky as a baseline start here. We'll figure out what else is in there, but Bucky Irving plus Rashee Rice plus something for Justin Jefferson. Let's say that something is
I feel like
yeah, go ahead.
I feel like
A Dunze Terry swap.
A Dunze Terry. Yeah, we can do something like that. Adding Terry to that.
Yeah. What does the chat think about this? Do you guys think we are overselling Jefferson or underselling him with this? Because maybe we're underselling him.
My perspective is, let's just make it even swap. At least this is how I will see it even, is Bucky and Nico. I think that would be an even swap for Jefferson.
Yeah, no, I like that.
But we could do Bucky Rice, but then I feel like we need to have Bucky Rice. And
I think Nico Bucky is actually the better move, if possible.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you there.
Like,
would you do like Bucky, JSN, Laporta?
Yep, I would.
But maybe you'd have to offer something in return there. Like, I think you'd have to offer Terry.
I'm going to see what Keep Trade Cut says about that one right there. Hold on, let me see. Out of curiosity. So, what was it? Bucky, JSN?
Laporta.
For Justin.
And Terry.
And they say that's a fair trade. Actually, right down the middle, fair trade.
I mean, look at me, bro. Look at me just fucking cooking in the kitchen. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that is nice. So that's a good one.
I like your Bucky Collins one the most so far, though. I think that one makes the most sense so far because he doesn't need that much depth.
No.
A Wilson. I mean, what about Wilson in the 101? But we have to offer something else, obviously. But like Jefferson plus what? Terry McLaurin again, maybe? I don't know.
Terry. Yeah,
for Garrett Wilson in the 101.
Yeah. And then you get Ashton.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That would just be a flex starter.
What about a tear down to Marv? And we asked for... Oh, shit. We couldn't get Bowers, but... Yeah, we can't get Bowers. We have to be realistic. We can't get Bowers in a deal. It's just not gonna work with his roster, his limitations. But what about Marv?
Unless the premium... Well, by the way, this is premium. We don't know what the premium is. Hypothetically...
He's just not gonna get Bowers. Even if it wasn't a premium.
Yeah, true.
Like it would have to be like Bowers and like a second round pick, and that's not gonna accomplish our goal, you know.
For Justin Jefferson?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
I would say you could try Marv Taylor, but it's not in love with it. Let's keep looking. I don't even think you can tear down to Puka, but if you could do Puka and CMC, I would do it in a heartbeat, personally. Like, I would do this in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think about it, but I don't think that's possible.
Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas is interesting.
Brian Thomas in the 102 might be asking too much. But if you were able to send Terry, would you do it?
Yeah, I would. Brian Thomas. I'm just going to see what Keep Trade Cut says about that. Brian Thompson 102 says it is too much. I had Terry into it. Says you're winning. It says a fair trade, but it's on the very edge of that that little Keep Trade Cut.
I think really that's where that's
also really fun.
I think that's where the options stop. I can't think of any other.
And I would just throw like the 210 to get that deal done as well, by the way. Like the Justin Jefferson Terry for BTJ in the 102. Like he's like, I just throw me the 210. I'm happy to throw it in. Like that's not going to be a big difference to me.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean,
there's not really a way to maximize value, by the way, with these picks. You just
with the capital
or true BPA. You just don't have any wiggle room there. And we want to be more honest than... I don't want to blow smoke up your ass.
Blow it, bro.
I don't mind the idea of like a Hertz teardown. You know, like
I guess
to me the names would be like Knicks, May,
sure.
Knicks, May,
See.
would you do Mahomes?
Nah, I hate that guy. Nah,
I think Mahomes might net you a decent return though. Let's just try these. All right, so let's try Bo Nix.
yeah, that's fine. Bo Nix. Brother Bo, where you at? Is this guy not rostered?
No, he is. Sometimes they have two Nixes. He's definitely rostered. Let's just.
No, I mean, I'm actually realizing there's 11 teams on here, so maybe it's glitched. And maybe Bo Nix is on that 11th team.
Well, I mean, would you do Knicks in a first?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, me too. Have to be like a mid first. Couldn't be a late.
Yeah, that Bo Nix this might be a glitch where you can't see that 12th team.
Yeah, could be. All right, how about Drake May? What is Drake May?
Herb stomped.
Yeah, so could you ask for Drake May and I mean I want to say Olave, but what about Drake May, the 105 and Shakira?
Shakira.
The more we're doing this, the more I would rather just tear down from Jefferson, but
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not a huge love of the tear down of Jalen. I mean, look, I think it can definitely boost it if he does win the Super Bowl potentially, but like, I guess it just depends. I don't really know what's gonna happen there.
yeah. I really love the Bucky trade we talked about. Both of the Bucky trades.
Yeah.
Which ones do you like? I love Puka, so maybe I'll give you a chance to do a different
I like
one.
the BTJ one.
Yeah.
Terry and the oh. There you go.
Yeah. I think one Justin Jefferson tear down and you're chilling, man. I really don't think you should do too much with this roster. But you definitely need to go out and compete. I love the combo of Gibbs, Bijan, Chase, Amon-Ra, and then whoever you tear down with is going to be perfect. And Tucker Kraft could be another breakout next year. So I don't think you're like... Look, this isn't a team that has Dalton Schultz as its starter. We're okay. We don't need to force it yet. But you could also look at Harold Fannin at the 210 if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't think Golden will be available or Jalen Royals, but
Yeah, no.
anyway, that's the direction we would take this team.
Yeah, man, appreciate you. You'll be receiving this 72 hours from now, with all the customized information for your Dynasty playbook with all the trades that we spoke about here today. You know, positional priorities, positional grades, team draft grades, etc., etc. We appreciate you and the support, and thank you so much, man.
Yeah, we will move on to the next team here. But if you guys want your team playbook, it's a very simple, gang. There's two ways to get it. The first way is by becoming a yearly Mother Flocker member with the promo code LAN. You get the team playbook. You also get our rookie report, a free trade question voucher, and all of the premium tools on the website. The other way to get it is if you're on a different promo code, you can buy one a la carte, regardless of what promo code you're on, or even if you don't want to become a member. Just make sure you choose a live tier if you want a live review. All right. Let's go to Dr. Dragado. And I am going to quickly pee, but his team is up here for you to look at.
No worries, man. 2 Guerrero, to the wall, from the window to the wall. I appreciate you. This is a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 9. So this is a middle ground. Nothing too crazy here. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and 3 flex spots here. Not too much context. He says picks next season. He tells his picks, which we'll have a look at as well. Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, great quarterback room, especially for a 1 quarterback league. Running back, Ramondre Stevenson, Trey Benson, Blake Corum, and Jonathan Brooks with Isaac Herendo. So this is probably the weakest room you have so far, but you do have some decent draft capital that you can potentially take over here. At the wide receiver position, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Rasheed Rice, Lad McConkey, T. Higgins, Jordan Addison, Jalen McMillan, Chris Godwin, Jalen Coker. This is a phenomenal wide receiver room with Trey McBride and Evan Ingram here. So look, especially with the draft capital that you do have at that 106, I mean, 100%, you know, whenever Zach comes back, we'll probably break this down, but you're going to have to prioritize, prioritizing that 106 and most likely building off, or not building off, or trying to draft at that running back position, especially if Ramondre Stevenson is no longer the guy. And you kind of have to hope that Trey Benson or somebody's going to step up here, but 10-man league here.
It's a good team, just, yeah, very bad running back room.
Yeah. 100%.
But overall, it's a decent team. I don't know exactly what you've said yet. But he actually put his picks at the top. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes, I saw. Yeah,
so he doesn't have the 106.
It's 108. You're right. 108, 205.
So I'll just set that up. But, I mean, so he's got the 108, the 205, the 308. I actually kind of wish that the picks were correct on screen. Because you would have had a little bit more wiggle room here.
Maybe we can trade up somehow.
Well, it's a start 9, right? So his starting lineup right now would be Hurts,
middle grounds,
and then Stevenson or Benson. I don't know. No running back really. But outside the running backs, he has Neighbors, Thomas, McBride, Rice, McConkey, Higgins. That's start 10 already. And then we add in names like Addison, McMillan, Godwin, Coker. He has enough trade pieces here to go out, get a running back maybe at the 108, and also trade for a running back with one of these names. I mean, you could maybe use Lad McConkey in a Bucky Irving plus type of situation, you know, and then you still are able to start Higgins, Addison, McMillan, Godwin, Coker.
Yeah.
So while you don't have ideal draft capital, you have your picks in 26, which is great. And you have a lot of depth at wide receiver, which could help you get a deal done. So I think it could be worse for sure.
Chuck Pagano. Sorry, that's so random. As senior secondary coach.
That's interesting. I feel like he would rather be on Pat McAfee. I mean, he's.
I know. Like, why would I not want to be on Pat McAfee? Like,
yeah.
Like, why?
I guess he still has ambitions to coach. Anyway, untouchables here would be Neighbors, Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Your holds would probably be McMillan, Coker. I'd also put Benson and Corum. I think your drops, you could drop. I mean, really, I don't want to drop anyone if I'm honest with you. So when you're watching this, just know I don't really want to drop any of these names. But if you had to, if I had to drop a name, it'd probably be Cade Stover and Kayshon Boutte. Actually, I might drop Jalen Polk over Boutte at this point. I need to make that change in my rankings because... Anyway, I don't want to drop Polk or Boutte, but if I had to, I probably would drop Polk.
So Jalen McMillan, Blake Corum, Trey Benson, and who else was the whole? Chris Godwin, maybe? Oh, Jalen Coker.
Yeah, Coker.
Jalen Coker there. Okay.
But yeah, overall, pretty decent team. Draft capital grade, knowing what you actually have, I'd probably give it a B flat.
Yeah.
Overall team grade, honestly, outside of running back, you're completely stacked out your ass. But running back's obviously very important to winning a championship, so I'd probably put...
I would say maybe like a B plus, A minus type
B
vibe.
plus, yeah. I think B plus is really fair. So I'm with you there. All right.
in contender, hey?
I think yeah, contender. Definitely contender pathway.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So we're on the same page there. We're all set.
All right, so let's get your chalkboard out here. Here we go. All right, so if you were to stick and pick at the 108, I definitely would be targeting running back. So whoever's left over of those names, maybe Judkins is there. I mean, you might be in a position where you've missed out, right? But if Judkins or Henderson are there, or Hampton or Caleb Johnson, if somehow they fall, that would be your direction. That would be your ideal outcome, but it's unlikely I think these guys actually fall. At the 204 and the 208, you just want to add another running back like we've talked about before, with that big group of running backs that look so nice in the second round, like the Giddens, Neil Smith, Sampson, Scatterboom, Marks. The list could go even further, right?
Yeah.
But that's, I think, the direction you probably want to go. Now, the other option is we use the 108 and trade for a veteran running back. And could that be James Cook range? Probably.
Yeah. I like that. I like James Cook. I thought of Josh Jacobs.
Probably have to add the 208 in there, but I would do that. I start a conversation. I mean, you might have to pay more, but yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, those are the two guys that came to mind right off the bat.
James Cook, Josh Jacobs. Let me look at my rankings, or just rankings in general. Actually, I'll look at mine. Kyron, you could probably buy for this. Chuba. You could probably get Chuba plus. Who has Chuba?
Plus. Let's find out.
That would be team 5. You can get Chuba, and you think you get Chuba in the 208? Well, he has a 208, but let's just say late second.
Yeah, late second. So who has one?
I don't think we're gonna know the picks, unfortunately. We talked about Chuba. We talked about Kyron. I feel like Walker plus as well could be something. What does the Ken Walker owner have? I like his team name, by the way. Horrendo to the wall. Horrendo to the wall. Okay. Anyway, I can't find Ken Walker. Can you?
Mick Ding Dong.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, if you can get Ken and Judy.
Judy, yeah, that's where I was at. Ken and Judy.
That would be ideal. By the way, I mean, I'll just say it. I don't think it's possible anymore, but I had people telling me when I was telling people to buy Bucky Irving, they said they'd sell the 109 for him. So if I can get the Bucky Irving for the 108, it's a no-brainer. But again, if you're going to trade for a vet, those are some options. As far as his team overall,
it's a no-brainer.
Would you want to use McConkey to get a running back? I don't think we want to trade Neighbors or Thomas. And as far as Rice goes, I don't think he's going to give enough of a return. I think it's McConkey.
I was thinking potentially T.
I think T you could trade once he signs.
Yeah, ideally I would like to keep Ladd, stay young. And I think he's just the guy. So like if T does sign with the Bengals or somewhere else, he's already wide receiver 15 in your rankings. Let's just see where he's at on Keep Trade Cut, wide receiver 15. On Keep Trade Cut, Lamar-Conkey, wide receiver 10. Once he does sign, I do believe he is going to get within that wide receiver 12, wide receiver 13 range.
Yeah.
So I think that value will be the same after the signing.
Yeah.
So I would personally rather just sell T. Higgins.
I think you get more for Ladd because he's the shiny new toy, but if you can get the same for Higgins, I'm down. But basically, we want to take one of these guys and kind of switch over to a running back here. So, for example, would you do T. Higgins for James Cook and The 204? That doesn't even feel like enough.
Yeah, I feel like T. Higgins can vet you more, no?
No, I agree, but what name are you using then?
Like, can we get Jonathan Taylor? Doesn't sound exciting.
Oh, I meant from Team 3, but...
Oh, from Team 3, sorry. From James Cook? Sure.
What about Bucky Ayuk?
Yeah, that feels really good.
If that's possible. Would you do this trade for... with Ladd?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, same. So I think it's interchangeable.
Yeah, it is interchangeable.
Brees, Metcalf.
Yeah, Brees Metcalf, that makes sense.
It feels like you're asking for too much.
I feel like
You'd
yeah,
have
you
to
can
give
throw something.
at least the 205. Yeah. I see that super chat, Matt. We'll get to that right after this review, my friend. Appreciate that donation. All right. Again, we're trying to get a running back here to build around. Can't get Bijan. Let's be real.
Wow. Maybe it's Tyrone. I mean, no, this guy probably.
Wow, running backs feel limited as far as his options here.
Look, the one guy that has all the good running backs.
Yeah. Well, he could be a really good option for you. Like,
there's two teams that have good running backs, I think.
Bucky, Monty for Higgins, I would do as well. Like another option there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ideally you turn Higgins into like some sort of combination of running back, wide receiver, or two running backs. And then let's say you got Bucky Irving and David Montgomery here. Then you traded the 108 for, let's say, James Cook. All right. I mean, you're starting to shape out a team. So now you have Bucky Irving, David Montgomery, James Cook. And you lose T. Higgins, but you have three starting running backs, and you can still start Ladd McConkey, Addison McMillan. I think that's a great outcome for you this offseason.
I completely agree.
Is there two trades you want to highlight there that I haven't?
Let's just do Kenneth Walker and Jerry Jeudy.
Yep.
Just give him some variety, and then Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
Or let's do Kyron actually.
Okay.
Kyron just
all
feels better.
Fantastic options for you. I think, I really like these second rounders to try and hit on running backs. It's a really deep running back class, so I think that's going to benefit you a lot. If you could lock in Judkins or Hampton or Henderson or Johnson at the 108, I'd like to keep it. Otherwise, I'm definitely not opposed to trading it away for a vet already in the NFL, right? Or moving Higgins for one of these type of deals. And again, you can interchange Higgins with Ladd for most of these deals, but just know that we're probably moving Higgins once he signs that long-term deal. But overall, I like the team, man. They're a couple moves away from really contending. And there's no reason not to go out and try and win this year, by the way, with this team.
No, not at all. And we appreciate the support there, Doctor. Doctor.
Yep.
Let us know if you're an actual doctor. We'd love to know that. Anyways, all jokes. But we appreciate you. 72 hours, you'll be receiving a customized playbook with all the information and all the trades that Zach and I broke down here today for you with all the customized information. But positional grades, positional priorities, draft grades, etc., untouchables will all be there on that graphic. But thank you so much for the support.
We do have a super chat here from Matthew as we're in between team reviews, and he says, Koalas, fun question for you both. For as long as you play fantasy football, would you rather make the fantasy football chip every year to lose or get tased once a week randomly for 10 seconds?
Well,
the issue with accepting... Okay, so if you accept that you're going to go to the finals every year and lose, there's no reason to play. Do you know what I mean?
True.
There's no reason to play. If I know every year I'm going to the championship to lose.
I think that is us not truly understanding how long 10 seconds is as a taste. Like,
yeah, no, you're right.
as you get tasered,
But
it's like when you think of a cop tasering you or anyone tasering you, it's probably for like a max 2 seconds, and you're like, oh shit, you're not getting tased for 10 seconds. At least
yeah,
maybe I'm wrong.
every week is insane. Maybe like
And you just
3
get
times a
immune.
year is more realistic. 52 times a year is too much. And at least if you made the finals, you would make your money back. Like at least in all of our leagues, second place makes a good amount of money from their buy-in. So I'm gonna choose make the chip but lose, because tased once a week for 52 weeks is I mean, that's got to do some real long-term damage to your health.
I mean, yeah, that really shouldn't. Having that sort of electricity going through your body once a week for 10 seconds, yeah, I completely agree. Not okay.
I mean, maybe you get some sort of superpower from it. I mean, we haven't taken that into account. Do you become the next superhero for some reason?
I just think, do you get immune to the tase? Like, let's just say midway through the year, but if you're getting tased every week in July, you're probably like 10 seconds is nothing. And then that means by then you'd be like, fuck, I should have went for the chip.
There are some fantastic points being thrown around left and right here.
Because surely you'll just build your tolerance. Like, do I practice getting tased? In the sense of like, I'm just gonna, you know what? For the first month, I'm gonna just try and get tased for as long as I possibly can, and then 10 seconds means nothing to me.
Would you? All right, let's take the question further. Let's say, okay, so you have the option to never be tased, and nothing in your life would change, or I can tase you once a week and you make $1,000 a week. Would you be tased once a week for $1,000?
It's $52,000.
$52,000 a year.
Just to get tased.
Yeah.
And no repercussions, nothing with my health. Is that what you're saying?
No, you have to figure that out on your own. You could be repercussions with your health, but you make an extra $52,000 a year.
I would say there's nothing in health in cash on January 1st every year. I'll do it. 52,000 in briefcases.
There is a chance it impacts your health.
Yeah, well, I probably won't do it. I want to live longer.
Yeah, it's a good question.
52,000 is not that much if you think about it.
If you die early, no, it's not.
If you die early. Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate you, Matthew. Thanks for the super chat, man. That's very kind of you. And I have heard the same, Nick. I have heard the same. Jalen Knoll killing it at the Senior Bowl, which no surprise to me. Y'all know I love my boy Jalen Knoll. Keep comparing him to Josh Downs. Dylan says you see the big boards is out for Best Ball 2025. I guess that's on Underdog.
On Underdog, yeah. It's been. I saw it. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter. Obviously, I follow people on Twitter. A lot of people in our community actually. On I know the FSC's boys are into it. I've seen all the bunch of other content creators diving into the big boards here. I wouldn't be surprised if Flock starts getting into it here very soon.
Yeah, I mean we can't do live drafts unfortunately in Australia, which is unfortunate. So
our channel would be very different if we lived in America, I think.
Yeah, I like the idea of like a draft being special though. Like I like the idea of practicing, but I also don't love the idea of best ball where people just like they start drafting. Like when they get to August, they're drafting like DJ Moore in the first round to be unique. You know what I mean? To get all these different possibilities with their roster. And that's the part of best ball I'm not in love with because people really don't like their strategy to it. But I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how I might not be making sense. All right. Mr. Keeves is the next team review. This is the last one that we'll do today. Yes, and it is a rolling deep roster. It's a start 11 in a Superflex league, so that's a pretty big lineup.
Oh boy. Okay, rolling deep, Mr. Keeves here. Let me pull up your team. Sorry.
And yeah,
I have to read this context
His team
here.
name is it's gonna be May.
It's gonna be me. Get it?
I don't actually. Okay, yeah, Team 8 is where he's at. I'm just picking up his draft capital for us, and why don't you go ahead and read the context?
It's gonna be May. He is 8th out of 12. There's a 12-man league. We appreciate the support. It says, hey guys, looking forward for the review. It's a best ball format. I feel like I'm set at quarterback and solid at wide receiver. Very weak at running back and no tight ends. Not sure if I can compete, but I traded my 26 first last offseason to get Drake May. I have solid DC.
Draft
So
capital.
if I draft capital, so if I can, I'll load up on running backs there and stream tight ends. Tight ends I can compete. Could compete. All right.
Okay, best ball. Obviously, we would approach best ball a little bit differently, and names like Jameson Williams very valuable in a best ball.
I think someone's at the door. Sorry, give me a sec.
But that is good to know. Right, so you sold your 26 first for May. And Superflex, I think you're going to be happy with that in 2026. Okay. So again, ranked 8th. Our quarterback room consists of May, Herbert, Smith, O'Connell. That's pretty decent. Running back room is tough there with Chuba. Pretty much all there is there with Chuba. But to be fair, if you had Chuba before the year, you'd be very happy with where he ended up finishing there. You've got T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Reed, McMillan. So a decent wide receiver room, definitely not top heavy. And then you've got Parkinson. You got no tight end really. Good news is you have a good amount of draft capital to kind of make some noise, if you will, with the 106, the 112, the 205, the 206. Those third rounders, we're not really going to be able to tell you yet exactly what to do with them. Right, so let's get that out of the way. We're not really going to be able to have good advice on the third round just yet without draft capital. But it's a good team. It's not a good team yet. It's not a good team yet.
It's not a good team. Came back to it's not a good team.
I mean, he has a lot of draft picks to turn this into a good team. But right now, it's not a very good team. I know it's best ball, so that wide receiver room looks better in a best ball league, I think. Because of the sporadic nature of some of these names like Pittman and Reed and even Hollywood Brown when he was healthy. But you have no tight ends worth noting. You have no running back outside of Chuba really worth noting. So I think there is still an uphill climb for this roster.
Oh, yeah, you don't have your 26 first.
He sent it away for Drake May, which overall I actually think is a good move. But I really think we need to turn this into a sleeper pathway. Because we don't have our own first and 26, there's really no reason not to try and compete, right? So I think we add a RB2 at the 106. We use the 112 to add another running back or tight end. And then we play with house money. But again, the untouchables, there really isn't an untouchable on this roster.
Yeah.
There really isn't. So we just have to be honest. There's not an untouchable. As far as holds, McMillan's a strong hold. Coker's a strong hold. Isaac Arendo's a strong hold.
We can do up to 4.
I'd say
Jalen Coker, you said?
Yep.
Isaac Arendo.
Mm-hmm. McMillan.
McMillan.
And
we need one more.
I'd say DJ Moore now that they've added Ben Johnson. You can easily drop Rakim Jarrett and Kavontae Turpin. I mean, you could drop more if you wanted to. You could drop.
Yeah, so just to have context here for you.
McCorley.
Just to give you the context here, Mr. Keeves, what you're going to see on your graphic when you are watching this later, you're not going to have any untouchables, but you are going to have 4 holds and 4 drops. So if you're saying, where are my untouchables?
They don't exist yet.
Could be Drake May in the future. If you had your 26 first, we probably would have put that as untouchable. But
as of right now, though, I think Drake May for a 26 first is pretty good deal.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it. Yeah,
no, I know. Just letting you know, like you didn't you didn't make a bad trade. It's just your team isn't in a fantastic spot. All right, draft capital grade. I'm probably going to go around a... We don't have our first and 26, so we have to keep that in mind. I mean, B-.
Yeah.
Overall team grade, I think we're probably in the C range.
I'm just gonna
C-.
C-, yeah. Loving it.
And your path forward is we want to get to sleeper status. So you can see, let me get my mouse on the screen. You can see here, full rebuild, 1-year punt. We're kind of wanting to get in that sleeper status where we're playing with house money. Now, with his picks, you're in a really good spot to add a running back, which is a desperate need of yours at this moment. You're really in that spot where you can grab one of like the Hamptons, Johnson, Hendersons. At the 112, I mean, look, maybe a Judkins is there. An Igbuka, maybe. But you're most likely going to be looking at one of those tight ends, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely... Apparently, this is the tight end premium. And if you are watching this, Mr. Keys, maybe later, please let us know if this is a tight end premium. Because I would like to know, because if it is, that can change a lot of things, getting those tight ends up the board, meaning one of these running backs or wide receivers do fall to you.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the range there is Judkins, Igbuka, the tight ends, Loveland, Warren, and then also those 2 wide receivers in Royals and Golden. But, I mean, let's just... And then at the 205, again, you're in that running back range, which is good. It's good that you have 2 mid-first-round picks because you can really hit gold here. Let's just say if you were to stick and pick, you ended up with... You grabbed Caleb Johnson. You came back on the 112. You ended up with Judkins. I think it's more realistic for one of these tight ends, actually. You ended up with Loveland. And then you came back in the 205. You got Devin Neal. And then you ended up with Dylan Sampson as well. So if you stick and pick, I mean, you've got a pretty decent haul there. And they're not all going to hit, obviously. We know that. But, you had Caleb Johnson, Devin Neal, and Dylan Sampson to Chuba Hubbard. Can we just get one of these guys to hit and be a reliable RB2? And in a best ball league, that's going to be helpful to have that sporadic roster.
Yeah.
Then Loveland, who could anchor your tight end room. You don't improve wide receiver at all, but you're at least in a position where you don't have your 26 first, but you have a chance to at least make some noise in the playoffs and get to the playoffs. That's not a bad idea at all. In fact, with the nature of this team, I don't really know that I will be looking to go out and get a bunch of veterans.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I'm not sure we should be getting max value here. If you have maybe the 102, the 101, the 103, maybe we can tier back, get one of these picks and a vet because of the nature of your team. But it just doesn't make sense. I completely agree. We want to trade back into these spots.
The other issue is I don't really know the moves that can be made with this roster because
these guys are valuable.
Sure,
technically because it's Best Ball.
Shout out to Best Buy, but no, you're right. I mean,
like you don't want to sell the Cokers, the Pittmans, the McMillans, or you don't want to put them as add-ons because they're actually pretty significant.
Yeah, but even if we were to sell like a Higgins or a Wilson, we can't tear down when those guys are our number 1 options.
Yeah.
You can't sell Herbert or May because Geno's your quarterback 3. You can't sell Chuba because you have no running backs after that. I think what you could do, you might be better off to try and trade for vets with your second rounders.
So the James Connors, the Alvins, the Mixons at the running back position. Do you get the Darnell Mooney's, the Jacoby Myers?
So 205 or 206. And like you said, the James Connors of the world could make a ton of sense. Joe Mixons of the world. Your Alvin Kamara's you mentioned. Who else? I'll put Tyrone Tracy.
Yep, we can put Tyrone. Gosh, one of the guys has freaking Dalvin Cook in it and Mario DeMarcado as running backs.
Oh my goodness.
Only team one all day.
I don't think I would send those picks away for any of the following names like Swift, Rashad White, Najee, Brian Robinson, Pollard, Pacheco. I really just don't think it'd be worth it.
What about Travis?
No, but I wouldn't mind the idea of like a if
Travis
the ETN owner has something to add on to it.
Let's see where the ETN's owner's at. We can kind of talk about that really quick.
So if the ETN owner can add...
What, Keenan? Jawan Jennings?
No, there's not a good fit here.
There's nothing.
It would have to be...
Unless you do Travis, Etienne, and Tank. And, like, you lock up the backfields, but, like...
They could still draft someone. It's a new coach.
Exactly. They can still draft someone.
It'd have to be, like, Sutton. But I just don't think they would do that.
They're going to do Etienne and Sutton, yeah.
So
it has no picks either.
It probably isn't going to work. I'll put it there, but that probably isn't going to be a good fit.
Yeah,
I think your options are kind of limited. Honestly, like, dude, after RB20 in my rankings, I have no confidence in anyone else. Seriously, like, RB21 onwards is disgusting. Pollard, Pacheco, Bryan, Stevenson, Swift, White, Najee, Charbonnet, Etienne, Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Rico, Benson, Bigsby. It's disgusting from RB21 onwards.
It will get better. Keep that in mind after the NFL draft. Those names that he just mentioned,
or get worse.
Like if the Patriots don't draft another running back, Stevenson is back on the. All right, it's just gonna be low end.
Another mid RB2.
Yeah,
mid
like
player
do you go and
that
get
you can
him?
Start.
Exactly, new offensive coordinator, et cetera, all coming through it. Anyways, you get what I'm saying with all those other names that we're talking about.
You really need to address running back, but if you're going to use that 206 on a wide receiver, I mean, yeah, you said Mooney,
Jacoby Myers.
I don't even know.
I'm getting
nervous about Jacoby because they could draft Tet. But
sure,
I think
Shakira maybe.
He's going to go for more than that, I think, but I'll put him down.
Keon Coleman then. If you want to do names like a Josh Downs, we like a lot.
Yeah, I think we stop it at that. But honestly, I think this team is in a very difficult spot because, again, you don't have your pick in 26, so there's no reason to rebuild. You made a good trade to get Drake May, but you really need to, like we said earlier, I really think the best path forward for this team is to stick and pick.
I agree.
Imagine you hit on a Bucky Irving this year in the third round with this running back class, the way it looks. I mean, maybe you use one of these picks and you do get James Conner. And then you use the other to get a Dylan Sampson. And your first round picks are Loveland Caleb. And you start to build out, a team that, again, we're in the playoffs and anything can happen. We're probably not going to win, but we're in the playoffs and anything can happen. And then we're into the year 2026. We still have valuable pieces all over the roster. And we have more flexibility because we have our own first-round pick the year after that. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Like, if you can sell Jaden Reed for any first, I think I would do that.
Sure.
I mean, in a best ball, he's got more value. So you can probably net a first. You couldn't get a first in another league. Pittman just isn't worth selling right now. So yeah, you're a little bit limited, man, with the moves that you can make. I do hope this is helpful. I'm a big fan of the Connor deal. If you can somehow net Tracy, you talked about Darnell Mooney, Keon Coleman. I liked all those deals. Jaden Reed for any first in any year, but you're a little bit limited. I think you need to use these resources, stick and pick. You don't have like a tear down pick. You can't tear down from the 106. The 112, you're in a spot where you wouldn't tear down from. There's no way to.
Yeah, there's no way to.
It's a good class to stick and pick with the second rounders if you wanted to, man. If you wanted to get Neal and Sampson or some running backs there, and it works out that way, you can do it. But if you wanted to go out there and try and be a sleeper team, you could grab a Connor, a Tracy Coleman, Jaden Reed get a first for. I think that's the way you move forward. I think once you complete all these things we've talked about today, and hopefully you hit on a third-round pick, and that changes the trajectory. But you're in the year 2026, and you're looking at 2027 saying, yeah, I think we got a real shot.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Good luck with this team. We really appreciate you and the support. You'll be receiving your customized playbook within 72 hours on the Flock Fantasy Message system here. But yeah, look, great team. Let me rephrase that. Decent team. Couple moves you have to make. I think this helps. If this wasn't best ball format, I think we would just say maybe we'll try and blow it up.
Yeah, it definitely helps that it's best ball.
Yeah, because you have boom games, and it doesn't really matter at the wide receiver position as long. Well, I mean it does, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's you're starting on a week-to-week basis. But
good luck, my friend. You're not in a bad position. Just need some finessing. That is it for today, guys. We will be live tomorrow doing a startup mock draft, and we'll do some team reviews after that as well. There's still another team review dedicated stream this week. So if you want to get your reviews in, we're getting through the queue every week, man. Every week we're getting through this queue and doing it efficiently. We appreciate you. Anything you want to say before we leave?
All love, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, guys. See you soon. Love.